building the fiber optics, which will cover 2,700 kilometers of inland in South Sudan. And you know, South Sudan is a very vast country that is almost 650,000 square kilometers. So it's a vast country. In order for you to put fiber optics, it will also take time. And I've seen the presentation that was given to us here when we were out there. The fiber optic started from Nadifal, then to Juba, and from Juba to northern part of South Sudan, east and west. In order for us to catch up the way my brother from Uganda was talking, we have to have a very high speed so that we come to the point where all the African countries actually stood. We started with initiating laws that governs, because anything that you do digitally can also be subject to abuse. And if it is abused, there has to be certain laws that brings in or bring to book those who actually abused. So we started with the Cyber Crime and Abuse of Computer Act 2025, which was passed last year and received the assent of the President in 2026. Now we are about to establish the ICT authority. So we have not yet started, we have not yet established it, but we are on the verge of establishing it. The other important is that we have a data center being built. It is now halfway to complete, and the Data Protection Act is on its way to be a law in the country. Having these two will actually enhance our ability to be able to participate digitally and ensure we close the digital gap. Apart from this, we have established the National Communication Authority since 2012, which is actually picking up very well. And we are also rejuvenating the issue of, we are rejuvenating the digital transformation, which is now underway. On digital finance services, we are integrated with East Africa Community through EACO to the whole of Africa through Smart Alliance. The government also is putting in place the ICT in the heart of its priorities through policies and legal frameworks, and we are also developing artificial intelligence regulations. South Sudanese, and particularly the young men and women, might be aware of the existence of AI, which some of them are actually exceedingly abusing. They have come to the point of knowing that artificial intelligence, when used positively, it is enhancing the innovation ability. And we have seen the two gentlemen that participated in Rwanda recently, and they were able even to win the prizes of $10,000 each. Now it has even sent a signal to those who are trying to abuse the AI so that they torment and bully their perceived enemies online. So in reality, South Sudan is developing so that it catch up with with its sisters in African continent and particularly in East Africa. While South Sudan is struggling with socio-economic issues, government has embraced the emerging technologies to catch up with the region. I think up to this point, I beg to return to
Thank you so much.
The moderator. Thank you.
Please, you can give South Sudan a hand of applause again. And I think if the last 1 month has been a lesson to the whole world, has been the importance of peace. And that we see South Sudan is a good exemplar on how you can build resilience, because what you've talked about really is through your different transitions and the complexities of, how do I say it, context, it becomes important to find a way to stabilize the country. So the 5 vice presidents, I think, is an interesting governance model in terms of inclusivity. But again, how you quickly come back to find a way to start to build this resilience infrastructure in the way that is very creative. And I can see how we say you're building an engine as you fly. So the plane is already in the air, and you're doing data protection, cybersecurity, AI. You're also building institutions, which is interesting, around whether it's a communication authority or similarly to our ICT authority. And I think this catching up, I don't understand. I think you are there. And so I think we need to build a little bit of confidence. I think we can learn a lot from countries like yours. Let me go to my second round of questions, and this is, I think it's fairly easy. I think we've all heard where every country is, and I think we're grappling with the same issues, whether it's inclusivity, whether it's sovereignty, whether it's issues around infrastructure. Regardless of the levels we are, I think the problems are the same. But also how we wield AI to sort of solve a lot of our problems. So let me go back to Uganda, because I started with you. I think now that you see where we are, I think for me the question will be, and I know South Sudan, you've talked about integration with Africa. I think so Uganda, how do you see us moving together? Because I think we've seen one, and you've said it, no one country can do it alone. No one country can build everything. So from your vantage point, how can we do this together?
Thank you very much. One, all of us must appreciate today that digital transformation is not only the future but the present, so we cannot avoid that. But also we should appreciate that we are at different levels, like we are discussing. Some of our countries are landlocked. Sometimes we prefer to say land-linked. Others have access to the sea, the ocean. Some of the countries are advanced, like here in Kenya. I think you have already written a policy and strategy on AI. Other countries are South Sudan. So as brothers and sisters, we should appreciate that we should learn from each other and support each other. If a country has done something and we are trying to start off, we shouldn't reinvent the wheel. Can we draw lessons from that country so that we are able to move faster, drawing from what has already structure? And I want to appreciate Kenya, because our optic fiber runs from the Indian Ocean through Kenya to Uganda. But we have also a challenge of the cost of devices, smart devices, and other things that we need. And we cannot go it alone as a country. We visited areas here where, for instance, phones and other smart devices are being manufactured here in Kenya. We visited a factory where the fiber is being manufactured. So the question is, instead of importing these phones and computers and iPads from Europe, from Asia, from America, if we have facilities already in Kenya. I know in Uganda also we have similar factories manufacturing and assembling some of these devices. How do we address the taxation regime to make it affordable and accessible? Yesterday when I asked whether, for instance, Uganda, we can get these smart devices from here. The challenge which was raised that I think the COMESA framework still imposes hurdles that if we are to get these phones and computers from Nairobi here, they will be taxed the way they are coming from China and other areas, so there will be no big difference. These are issues which we must address as governments so that we are able to build our own capacity as a region. Then lastly, we have an issue of funding. First of all, you asked a question. It's not enough to just build infrastructure. It's not enough to have data centers and fiber optic and so forth. The question which we must address ourselves, why? At the end of the day, what do we want to achieve? And I think it is imperative on all of us, especially we policymakers, that we engage our governments to appreciate the importance of building a functional digital ecosystem within our governments. Right now, for you to gain efficiency, to have better outcomes in all areas, whether it is healthcare, whether it is transportation, whether it's commerce, whether it's education, we need to integrate digital services. And this speaks to the issue of even funding. You will find in most of our countries, these interventions are being supported with resources from external partners, World Bank, and maybe our governments are allocating insufficient resources to drive this agenda. So as ministers responsible for digital transformation, the policymakers, we must speak to our presidents, we must speak to our governments to allocate adequate resources in order for us to strengthen our digital economies, and the collaboration becomes very important. If, for instance, the Minister of South Sudan would want me to come and speak to the leadership of South Sudan, we can come. And I can also invite him to come and speak to the cabinet of Uganda to appreciate this point that going forward, ICT and the digital transformation are the way to go. And we must support each other, and I want to appreciate the government of Kenya for hosting us and organizing this conversation. And I think going forward, there are many lessons we shall have to go back home with. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. I've been warned that I only have 5 minutes, so I'll request my panelists to give me a couple of closing remarks. What did I not ask, and what do you want to tell the audience about Malawi? And I'll go to South Sudan, and I'll go to Liberia on the same breath.
Move the seats.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. And for Malawi, one message is that we are ready to collaborate. We are ready to work together with fellow Africans with one common purpose and mission. And the mission is to get connected for the benefit of our people. And here we are, we would want us to look at the barriers to connectivity between our countries, the barriers to taxation, barriers to data being transferable, but also the infrastructure, the barriers that we have in terms of funding. We would want us to approach these challenges together, come up with a common solution, and we realize that within us, other countries have gone ahead. Some of us are foundation stage, and we would want to get there. We also are going to look upon to those senior brothers and sisters that have already gone ahead to bring us on board, take us on board, work with us. What we want, you cannot succeed alone. You can't succeed alone. The moment you succeed alone, you invite a lot of, envy and so forth, and that's not natural, that's not human. So we would want our brothers that have already progressed digitally to embrace us, to bring us on board. But we are ready to collaborate. We are ready to go back and look at our taxation regime. We are ready to go back and look at our our laws how we can ensure that data is transferable. We are just ready, and this is our commitment to this gathering, that Malawi is ready and we are doing it. And yes, if it is about connecting all of us together, consider us as that strategic partner to further this mission. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Let me go to Liberia, then South Sudan.
Thank you, moderator. And I would like to extend thanks to the Kenyan government for organizing this summit. I think the most interesting conversation right now around the world is digitization, because digitization is an enabler, whether good governance, whether productivity, whatever you want to do. If our AI right now has made human beings smarter than normal. So at the end of the day, I think there's no more important conversation to have right now in this contemporary age as compared to having conversation around digitization and technology. Technology is moving fast. Our continent, to a larger extent right now, do not really benefit from the advancement in technology. Most of our population, go online, and rather than being inventors, creators, they are actually users, checking other people's applications and the rest of it. So I think this summit, is meant to meet minds, bring bright minds together and see how Africa can move forward with advancing technology and utilizing technology to enable our value chains of our economy. One thing I want to leave us with is that there is no country that now speaks to a higher GDP without a good technological platform. There's a relationship between GDP and technology. There's a relationship between advancement in economies and technology. Technology provides the solution and helps to make life easier for the world over. And Africa should take advantage of that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Last but not least, South Sudan.
Thank you. Thank you once again, moderator. As I picked from where my colleagues exited from, particularly my colleague from Uganda, stressed the point that for us to realize Connected Africa, we need to cooperate among our countries. And if there is a need for a cooperation between our countries, we have to revisit the tax regimes that are imposed in each country. Sometimes some countries wanted to collect more so that they pay their government obligation. And trying to overtax also will widen the gap. And the wider the gap between the countries that are supposed to be cooperating in order to achieve the unified goal can be detrimental to the notion of Connected Africa. South Sudan is in a very important location. It is standing between the East, Central, and West. So if the project of Connecting Africa is to be realized, so South Sudan is a connecting point. South Sudan connect between the East and the West and the Central. So we are ready as government to cooperate with our brothers in the region and in Africa. And also, I do agree with my colleague of, devising the exchange visit of our governments so that the government from A can share their experience with the government in the B point. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, you can give a round of applause to the ministers. So quickly, and I know the MC is on my neck.
Absolutely.
One, I think, is that we now know from the 4 countries that the AI journey in Africa has not been uniform, but we seem to have the similar problems, and then it calls for more collaboration and more connectedness. Hence, the theme is important. I think from Uganda, we've had multi-stakeholder collaboration. We've had infrastructure that needs to be built and shared. From Liberia, I think this idea of equity and inclusion and real-world impact, the idea from Malawi around foundational AI readiness and ensuring that things like innovation hubs and skills are things that will work. And South Sudan, we've had of a powerful perspective from building from the ground up. And I think many of us have to learn around how you build resiliency and build an engine as you fly. Key lessons. One, I think digitization is key, and we need to build across the entire stack. Talent, skills, sovereignty, pro-innovation, regulations. No country can build this alone. So collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. And I think the takeaway of an exchange was interesting. How does a minister go to another country to exchange? Finally, taxation and funding. I think if there's a resolution from this conference, I think those are two things that are emerging. And with that, I beg to close this panel, and thank you so much.
Big round of applause for the moderator, please. Thank you so much. Let's have sound right there. We'll take a photo, group photo. Give me sound, please. Thank you so much indeed. All right, another beautiful round of applause for the moderator and the panelists. Our chief guest has arrived. I'd kindly request our ministers to please be guided so that we can later on come in with our chief guest, His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. In the meantime, dear delegates, we'd kindly request that we settle down. Ambassador Philip Figo, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We'd kindly request that we settle down. Once His Excellency comes in with his delegation, we'd kindly request that we minimize our movements so that our focus be set in that spirit of connectedness. But in the meantime, thank you so much. Cynthia, powerful discussions already. And we have Liz as well.
Yes, good morning, afternoon. I love the discussions as well. No, not yet. Yes.
So we did have a group, an entertainment group, so we still want to appreciate the Kenyan taste. But later on we'll be getting a bit of Lingala. Rita, are you still there? From DRC. A big round of applause for DRC. DRC is well represented here. And South Sudan, Joseph, the land of tall people. A big round of applause for South Sudan.
At some point, I'll
Cynthia.
need a photo with him. Just for archive's sake, you know? They don't make them like that in Kenya. And I'm just saying. They really don't. So we're going to have our dancers? You promised me dancers, Monica.
Yes, the dancers are here. It's just
Yes.
waiting. Are we fantastic? The drum beats of Africa.
And you said you wanted a Congolese beat?
I mean,
Did we
if
ever deliver
they,
that?
if they do have it, but this is going to be a special one from Rita. She's, I'm sure, very... and by the way, the gala dinner is happening on Friday, is it?
Yes.
Absolutely. So Friday, please prepare yourself.
I'm very ready for it.
Exactly.
My African attire is all set.
Exactly.
Because then if you're talking about Africa, you want to show up in an African attire.
Boom.
Oh, best believe that's actually what I'll wear tomorrow.
There
I
we
mean,
go.
it'll be 4 days. Why not show up in African at some point?
Absolutely, absolutely. So
But that was a beautiful panel, I must say.
Yeah,
remarkable,
interesting.
remarkable, no question about it.
And every time, you know, Ambassador Thigo is in the building, he's going to have amazing conversations and even more importantly, some great takeouts. Very, very good takeouts.
Absolutely, and
So as we're preparing for the team to come in,
We'd
you
like
know,
to know.
I loved one statement that was made.
which was?
That the digital space offers the shortest path to sovereignty. We don't have to go to any forests. We
No,
don't
we
have
don't.
to shed blood.
No,
No.
we don't.
If we just connect, that's it. The digital technology is now the new normal.
And we don't have to be users anymore. We are the creators.
Boom! Building our own capacity. That's
Precisely.
the,
Because we have what it takes. We have the infrastructure.
There we go.
We have the data.
The data.
We have the personnel.
The personnel.
We have everything that we
Everything.
need. So why do we need to look out elsewhere?
Boom.
We have everything we need right here in the beautiful continent of Africa.
Absolutely. And I celebrate our principal secretaries here.
Yes.
The digital economy. We are building our very own capacity. We are stopping the whole culture of being just consumers
Thank you.
of technology. No. This is the moment. All right, are we ready?
We're still setting up. eh?
Trumpets of Africa. My brother. There we go.
Mwakazi, there was a time you were playing the guitar, right? There was a time you used to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
But
that
there's the
gentleman over there,
passion.
maestro. How do you call maestro in Africa, my friend? Is there a name for it? Huh? Griot. Griot. Okay, there we go. We have our African griot.
Yes,
okay.
we do. And so it begins.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency and his delegation will be coming in shortly. Once they come in, I'd kindly request that we be upstanding in honor of leadership. Aha. Boom. Honorable Cabinet Secretary, Ministry Tourism Kenya, welcome. Let us be upstanding, dear delegates. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, our Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I will ask Zootopia to leave the stage quickly as we remain upstanding. We prepare ourselves for the national anthem and the East Africa Community anthem as Zootopia leaves the stage. Let's give them a warm round of applause as they leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Let's settle down for the national anthem, the anthems. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, please let's
Good
take our
afternoon,
seats.
ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a summit taking place at a defining moment for Africa. The continent has been termed young, connected, entrepreneurial, and increasingly digital. Yet, it faces gaps in infrastructure, trust, regulation, and skills. Connected Africa Summit 2026 is where governments, investors, telcos, innovators, and development partners have come to meet to move from ambition to execution. And Kenya is hosting this 15th edition, having positioned herself as one of Africa's strongest digital economies, boasting being a global leader in mobile money, expanding digital public services through the e-citizen and government digitization, a growing data center and fiber ecosystem, as well as Nairobi, the capital city, being termed as a silicon savannah. Kenya is also strategic as Africa's logistic and innovation hub. And on your screens there, the chief guest is none other than Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki, flanked by other government officials, including Cabinet Secretary in charge of information and the digital economy, that is William Kabogo, accompanied by his two principal secretaries, that is PS Isaboke, as well as PS Engineer Tonoither. The conversations are going to be looking at the impact overall of a connected Africa, focusing on fintechs and how technology is set to expand not only startups in technology but also support other sectors. Also present is none other than the Cabinet Secretary in charge of tourism, where tourism, that is Rebecca Miano. Tourism is one of the sectors that is benefiting greatly from Kenya having to host this particular summit, looking at conference tourism, hospitality, transport, as well as local spending. We're expecting foreign investor exposure to Kenya's tech opportunities, new partnerships in telecoms, cloud, AI, and digital finance. Earlier in the morning session, we had a panel of eminent persons speaking on different issues, including the policy impact, and pressure has been identified to accelerate AI strategy, cybersecurity readiness, data governance reforms, and cross-border digital trade reforms. As day 2 commences this afternoon, happens to be the official launch of this particular summit, and we want to hand you to the master of ceremony as we continue to document the Africa Connect Summit, the 5th edition, 2026.
A transformational leader with over 30 years of experience across telecommunications, finance, and FMCG sectors. Please welcome His Excellency Leon Ibombo, a seasoned public servant and policy leader serving as Minister of Posts, Telecommunications, and the Digital Economy from the Democratic Republic of Congo. And the moderator, Julie Gishuru, a renowned media professional, entrepreneur, and founder and president of Africa Leadership and Dialogue Institute, with nearly 2 decades of experience across multimedia platforms.
Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Welcome. Good to see you. Please don't mind. Apologies for that. Go ahead.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing? No, this is too low. This energy is too low for a conversation that we're going to have as the seats come onto the stage. You are in Nairobi. You are in Africa. Mama Africa. And we're going to have a conversation about one African inclusive digital market. The question we're asking on this panel is, how do we drive scale and how do we maintain sovereignty? My name is Julie Gishuru. As Johnson Mwakazi introduced, I am a passionate Pan-Africanist. So I will start us off with an African proverb that tells us, if you cut your chains, you free yourself. But if you cut your roots, you die. I want you to hold that thought as we go to the panel discussion. warm welcome to our panelists. I know we are waiting for Minister Sekou Kroma. Thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause, please, as he takes his seat as well. Thank you very much, Minister, for joining us. An esteemed group of panelists. We have a short amount of time, but we're going to have a great conversation. Minister, I'll begin with you. We're talking about this future for an inclusive digital market for Africa. We want to drive scale. We know there's opportunity, but we have to do it in a way that works for Africa. Tell us about the journey that you are on in Liberia, in the work that you do at country level, but also what are you seeing at the Africa Union that will enable both scale and sovereignty, please?
Thank you. We are talking about Africa Connect. In the digital sphere, the first thing that we've been looking up to is how Africa can have a regional framework, an infrastructure that will be put in place to actually host data in Africa. That has been one of the, instead of local, national data hosting, in a region, we see our data all over. It's not located in a single area where we as Africans can access and control. So in a digital single market, individual country can build infrastructure, a very vibrant infrastructure in your home. But the entire African region must be integrated into a platform that will host all of us with that idea. So digital sovereignty as a whole, you can manage your data, and you have a national data center or regional data center. But in Liberia, we put in place several legal frameworks that gave the environment, a secure environment for investment, for government to also work freely without any interfering. So Liberia has put in place a data policy, a Cyber Crime Act that talks about cyber security, and within the region we have a free roaming agreement in West Africa between Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Ghana as well. So that will also enhance some of these free market trade between country and country. And looking at the infrastructure, roll-out infrastructure, we talk about fiber cable. In those areas, Liberia have a single cable. That is the ACE cable. So we're working along with World Bank to ensure that we have a second cable that will connect also not only Liberia, but the regional countries in that area. So I think if we move in that direction, we are now speaking on Connect Africa, then Africa in the future will be connected.
We will be connected. Thank you. So national level, the regional economic blocks as well, moves then into continental level. I have to say, a few weeks ago, I was at the Mashariki Cooperation Conference, which is a security and intelligence conference, and a commitment there was made from the security actors to back Africa's digital growth and connectivity. And so just to say, there are many aligning with this agenda, not just this world that's in this room, and that's great to know. Peter, let me come to you next. I heard a fascinating statistic this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to this stat. Safaricom Kenya does approximately, and I think this is due to M-Pesa, 20% of what PayPal does in 180 countries in value. Did you hear that, guys? In Kenya alone, 20% of what PayPal does in 180 countries. So Peter, with that context set, let me come to you. You are already, from a private sector perspective, traversing the African continent, learning about scale and sovereignty. What are you learning and what's most important?
Thank you, Julie, and fantastic to be here, and really great to work with the Ministry of ICT to actually facilitate and actually make this conference a success. We have learned a lot. So we started our business 25 years ago, and today we are more than a $3 billion business. We've just gone into Ethiopia. I came from Ethiopia this morning. I've hardly slept very much. We already have close to 15 million customers in just 4 years. But just speaking about M-Pesa, you're right. M-Pesa actually transacts about $800 million a day. More than 500 million transactions. We've just installed a new platform that will do 10,000 transactions per second. So what we have learned is we actually have the ingredients for creating a digital market. And actually, M-Pesa is already in 7 markets. So the use cases are there. The actual platforms are there. You need to remove the friction. And also there needs to be a lot of work, and it's already been demonstrated in Kenya. We are working with the government to drive the public sector digitization in big sectors such as health, education, agriculture, and also the whole financial services area. And the reason why we are able to support is because we have the key assets that can be used to propel this. The connectivity layer is a very important one, which connects everyone. We need to continue to do more with handsets. So we set up a device assembly plant here in Kenya. Either countries need to remove taxes on imported devices, or actually encourage local production by actually setting. The second is, of course, spectrum. And especially as we go into non-terrestrial, so satellite is going to be a much more important as we go into the region. And then, of course, the minister talked about data, investing in data centers and so on, but also local rules around public and private clouds and all that will make a very, 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 very big difference. So we are seeing the benefit of having assets like connectivity, benefits of having utilities like M-Pesa, which allows that to happen. Now we need to include digital IDs. We have an API, which is what allows things to talk together. But the most important is actually really connecting across the region, and then enabling the public sector, the utilities like eCitizen and all those elements. But the private-public partnerships will make a very, very big difference.
Thank you. Again, so a theme emerging around collaboration and the importance of that, complementarity. Your Excellency, Dima Al Yahya, your experience is both at national level for Saudi Arabia, when I think you were leading this work at country level, and now, of course, with the Digital Cooperation Organization. Talk us through what you're seeing when we talk about sovereignty and how your organization is working. I believe 7 African countries are part of it right now. There are 16 countries in whole. Talk us through what you're seeing and what you're learning.
Well, thank you for the very important question, and definitely I would like to extend my appreciation to His Excellency the Minister, as well as the government of Kenya, for conducting such kind of very important summit in this specific time. The more that we see on a geopolitical landscape, we see that resilience is very important, and one country alone will not shift the needle. We need to work together as governments, learn from each other. We truly believe in DCO that every country has a competitive advantage, and that competitive advantage, linking them together, creates the power and creates the impact going forward. And therefore, we look at sovereignty in DCO as joint sovereignty rather than independent sovereignty. If we look, for instance, any technology now has a value chain. As much as a country is advanced, if the countries around the country is not advanced as much, then the use of the local content or these technologies cannot be used externally. Therefore, that investment will be a big loss. If you have a digital passport, you can't use that digital passport if the countries that you're traveling to does not have the same protocols and the same technologies. Also, if we don't have a unified cross-border data flow policies and mechanisms, then again, we cannot use that advancement in a country. We're looking into an era where Africa itself can move from a $20 billion economy in digital economy to a more than $70 billion in 2031. That's by working as a one digital market rather than fragmented 50 plus countries. And this is where we have to move from looking at sovereignty as a force of limitation to a more flexible rule-making that will protect and safeguard the citizen and countries, but at the same time give possibility to innovators as well as other governments to interact on a national level.
Thank you, and such important work happening there. Let me now introduce our next speaker. Anelia Muller is the Senior Digital Specialist and Project Lead for Kenya at the World Bank. She is representing Chimiao Fan, who is the World Bank Country Director for Kenya, Rwanda, Somalia, and Uganda. Thank you for stepping in and taking this role on. Anelia, take us through how the World Bank sees this. And the World Bank has been a crucial partner for governments. How are you viewing this, and how are you supporting this drive for scale and also sovereignty?
Thank you so much, Julie. Thank you, everybody. Honorable members of the government, it's a pleasure to be here. I am not indeed Chimiao Fan. You might have been wondering why there was that picture, and you have this lady sitting here. I have an honor of representing him today. So indeed, on the bank side, we fully believe in the future of digital, and we fully believe in the future of this continent, which is why the bank has created the Digital and AI Vice Presidency, and we are ramping up support across the continent for the priorities that the governments are putting forward. Currently, the bank has over $5 billion committed across the continent to connect over 200 million people to new enhanced internet and over 110 million people to services. Prerequisites are there. Africa Union Digital Transformation Strategy is adopted. Africa Continental Free Trade Protocols have been signed. The commitment to the single market is there. National policies and strategies, multi-annuals are there. So prerequisites are there. What could help us move to the next frontier? And I will rebound on what the Honorable Minister has said, what Peter, you have said, maybe 4 things. First, regulatory harmonization and predictability. Funds flow where policies and regulations, including cross-border, are such that it gives you trust and predictability. Second, removing hurdles for private sector, first and foremost, investment into foundational layers like connectivity. We're talking about waylift charges harmonization, we're talking about spectrum management, we're talking about DIG-1 policy, infrastructure sharing, all of this to ensure the private sector is ready to move in. Third, using public capital wisely. Now, private sector cannot cover all the gaps, and this is where catalytic funds are important, and the bank is ready to support the government in very tight fiscal spaces to provide this catalytic public funding to close the gaps, but close the gaps in a way that can leverage public-private partnerships, can have, let's say, reverse subsidy auctions for infrastructure expansion, and can think about regional solutions rather than national solutions. And fourth, boosting adoption through services, through skills, through affordable devices, and by bringing the prices down. So these are the 4 areas where we are working in, both in Kenya as well as in the other countries on the continent. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you so much. We are wrapping up, and in literally 30 seconds, I'm going to ask each of you to say one thing that we must focus on. If there's one thing we must focus on in the next few years, what would that be? Actually, 10 seconds. Peter, let me start with you.
Collaboration between private and public sector.
Collaboration between private and public sector, please.
I would say actually 2 things, if I may. Innovative policy making, Second is triple P new models, which is public, private, and people partnerships.
Public, private, and people as well. Love it. Innovation. Yes, please, Anelia.
Policy predictability and trust.
Wow. Thank you. Minister.
Thank you. I will look at Africa as a whole. We should also look at those protocols and those regional framework. If government can commit themselves to that, it will actually help in terms of connecting Africa. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for the panel. And as I close, just one moment to say a few more words of African wisdom. There are sayings that we have in our cultures that we must hold on to. One says, a single bracelet does not jingle, and it reminds us we have to work together. Another one that I'm sharing today is when the leg does not walk, the stomach does not eat. We must walk the talk. And thank you. And the final one is the same sun that melts the wax hardens the clay. These are complex things. They're not simple. But there's a role for everyone, and we can move forward together. Again, ladies and gentlemen, a warm round of applause for the panel, and back to our hosts, Johnson Mwakazi. Thank you so much.
So much. A big round of applause for our moderator. We'll take a photo right there. Memorable one. Thank you so much. Give me sound as well. And we really want to appreciate even the first quote. We will, yes, our chains have been cut, but we will never cut our roots. Give me sound, please, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready now to get our opening remarks. And I'd kindly call upon the one who has been at the helm, who will guide us through this particular session.
He is the CEO of the ICT Authority, a seasoned digital transformation leader driving Kenya's digital agenda, championing technology as a catalyst for efficient, transparent, and citizen-centered service delivery. Please welcome Jesse Maruti Kiveu.
Big round of applause, please.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Honorable Ministers across Africa, Principal Secretaries, Ambassadors, High Commissioners, CEOs, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for honoring our invite and coming for these occasions. Allow me at this juncture to recognize my fellow CEOs across Africa. If you are around, just stand because of time. If you have CEOs around. Thank you. Also, at this juncture, because of time, just allow me to recognize the Board of ICT Authority, led by Honorable Lil. Just stand up, if you will mind. Thank you so much. And I think we are convening of the second day, and the imperative is clear. Invest, align, collaborate, to build a unified digital foundations for Africa. So at this juncture, it's my honor to welcome the Principal Secretary for ICT and Digital Economy to take up from here. Welcome, John.
Technology leader with extensive experience in digital transformation and international ICT leadership. Former CEO of Konza Technopolis and a senior executive at Huawei, he is passionate about leveraging technology to drive economic growth and innovation. Please welcome Engineer John Tanui.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki, Your Excellencies, the ministers from the continent, our Cabinet Secretary for ICT and Digital Economy, Honorable William Kaboko, our Minister, Honorable Rebecca Miano, my colleague, Principal Secretaries here, ambassadors, technology leaders, industry leaders, and our partners. Good morning. It's afternoon. Your Excellency, we are very excited. This is a very special event for us in the ICT sector. We are holding it for the 15th circle. We held it for many years as Connected Kenya, where it was a convening platform for Kenya only. We extended and started inviting our colleagues in the East Africa. And for the third year, we are inviting the entire continent and our partners from the global for this important platform to bring all of us together. Your Excellency, this is a very key platform for us, and the conversations taking place here has far-reaching impact. Your Excellency, let me request my colleague, principal secretaries from across the continent who are present here to stand up. My colleague from Malawi, Secretary for ICT, Arol Mzusa. Thank you very much. Our colleague from Uganda, Dr. Amina Sawede. Our colleague from Angola, Engineer Angelo Monguel Puta. Our colleague from Algeria, Mohamed Lemini Romoche. Our colleague from South Sudan, Engineer Thomas Kakuoth. And my colleague, whom we work very closely from Telecommunication and Broadcasting Kenya, Isapoke. Thank you. We have some deputy ministers who also rolls cross. Deputy Minister from Zimbabwe, Honorable Tingumusi Puti. From Republic of Liberia, Honorable Nicholas N. Johnson was in a panel discussion. Your Excellency, yesterday we had a very engaging session. We had an opportunity to go with the ministers and the delegation to visit one of the flagship projects of our government, the Affordable Housing Project, Mukuru, where we were able to present the future of urbanization of the African continent. We were able to show with our partners, Safaricom, how digitally ready housing can be prepared. We were able also to work with our technology partners, including Huawei, to demonstrate how IT technologies can be used in education through the school which is there at Mukuru Kwanchenga. Later on, we visited one of the manufacturing facilities in Kenya, actually two of them. We visited near Fiber, who are already manufacturing fiber for use in Kenya and exporting to over 13 countries. We were able to visit also East African Device Assembly Center, which is already manufacturing devices, and it generated a lot of conversation with the leadership of the continent, and some of the issues our ministers will help to drive to the next level. Later on, we visited Konza Technopolis, where we saw the potential of the continent in urbanization, Science and Technology Park through the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, and how manufacturing can be even done at a larger scale, and that generated further conversations. Early this morning, Your Excellency, we also held a breakfast under the leadership of our Cabinet Secretary, and several conversations emerged, including having a one network within the African continent. Why should we have roaming charges? Why should we have inter-network charges? We also saw how do we unlock the borders for digital trade, how to ensure products like the smartphones can cross the continent, and there's going to be a lot of discussion in regards to this going forward. So I'll stop there, Your Excellency, and take this opportunity to invite our Cabinet Secretary, Honorable William Kaboko, to give his remarks. Karibu sana.
He is the Cabinet Secretary for Information, Communication and the Digital Economy, a seasoned leader and entrepreneur with extensive experience in governance and public service. The pioneer governor of Kiambu County and Member of Parliament, he brings strong expertise in leadership, finance and digital transformation. Please welcome Honorable William Kavoko.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the Honorable Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki, my friend. We are really delighted and honored to have you officially open this summit, and we appreciate the support of the government of the President, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto. You will pass our regards and thanks to him to have participated in a discussion between yourself and me a couple of days ago, where you actually accepted to grace this occasion. We don't take that for granted. Your Excellency, Madame Dina, Secretary General of the Digital Cooperation Organization, honorable ministers present, and Your Excellency, allow me just to mention the ministers present. The Honorable Seko, Republic of Liberia, he was on the panel. Honorable Dr. Shadrach from the Republic of Malawi. The Honorable Atene, Republic of South Sudan. Honorable Chris, Republic of Uganda. And this afternoon we'll be joined by the Honorable Mourana, joining us from Guinea this afternoon. He missed his flight earlier this morning. Allow me also to recognize our own, the Minister of Kenya for Tourism, Rebecca Miano, Your Excellency. Karibu sana. Amongst us also is the Honorable Moses Kuria, who is known for many things, a good gentleman. And I'm not sure why he was forgotten. Allow me, Your Excellency, just to give an overview so that you can come and speak to us. And before that, you will indulge me to allow the Minister from Malawi to make a remark, as we also allow our Minister for Tourism to pitch on these good men and women so that our tourism can grow. We are equally privileged, Your Excellency, to have many delegations here that have not been mentioned. Please feel appreciated. Your Excellency, on my own behalf, and on behalf of the Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy, it is my honor to receive you and all delegations here present to this great Republic of Kenya, and more so the city in the sun here in Nairobi. Your Excellency, I failed to warn these people that we have the 4 weathers on the same day. So some came warm-dressed, some came summer-dressed, but all in all, enjoy the weather in Nairobi. And I'm sure the Honorable Rebecca will tell us how quickly we can get from here to the National Park and enjoy world life here in Nairobi, the only city in the world that has a park within the city. Your Excellency, we continue to build as individual markets on issues of connectivity with systems that do not always connect, frameworks that do not always align, and opportunities that do not always scale beyond national borders. If we are to move forward, Your Excellency, this must change. Our theme, which is Uniting Africa's Innovation for an Inclusive Digital Market, speaks directly to this challenge. It is a recognition that the next phase of Africa's digital journey is not about isolated successes, but about resilience and sovereignty. Your Excellency, a few things must happen. One, we begin with trust. 2, we turn to the systems and enable delivery. Thirdly, we will also examine connectivity and the data economy. Finally, Your Excellency, as a digital future will ultimately be shaped by the young people who will build, use, and scale this system. It is therefore my hope that over a few remarks, Your Excellency, allow me to invite Dr. Shadrach, MP, Minister of Information and Communication Technology of the Republic of Malawi, just to make a few remarks, and then I will invite our own Rebecca Miano, Your Excellency, to come and tell us about tourism in Kenya. I thank you. Karibu, Mheshimiwa.
the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki, distinguished ministers gathered here, Your Excellencies in the room, leaders from the industry and academia, ladies and gentlemen, and you allow me also to ride on the protocols already established. A good afternoon. Good afternoon. Your Excellency, I stand before you this afternoon just to make a few remarks. And before I proceed, I would want to extend my heartfelt congratulations to the Republic of Kenya for successfully hosting the Connected Africa Summit 2026 here in the beautiful and hospitable city of Nairobi. This is my second time to be here, and already from the first time that I was here, I felt in love with your city. Indeed, Your Excellency, it is fitting that this important gathering is taking place in a country that continues to demonstrate leadership on the continent in ICT. And you are doing very well, Your Excellency. You are demonstrating and leading. You are leading in digital innovation. You are leading in technological advancement. These experiences being shared and the progress witnessed during our engagements are clear testimony to Kenya's remarkable strides in this sector. I would also want to express sincere appreciation for the warm reception accorded to us as ministers from the continent, and this I speak on behalf of my fellow ministers. Starting from the moment that we arrived at the airport and indeed towards our stay at the magnificent hotel, which is just adjacent to the park. Indeed, your hospitality is truly exceptional, and thank you very much for that hospitality. Your Excellency, Connected Africa Summit, convened under the theme Uniting Africa's Innovation for Inclusive Digital Market, comes at a defining moment in our continent's journey. We gather at a time when technology is no longer mere a supporting sector, but the backbone of economic growth, regional integration, and socio-economic transformation. Africa today stands at the intersection of opportunity and agency. As the youngest continent in the world, rich in talent, innovation, and resilience, we possess unmatched demographic advantage. However, as you may agree with me, unlocking this potential requires us to leverage technology as a unifying force across our nations. We have an African proverb that says, if you want to go far, you have to go together. Indeed, we are witnessing that resolve, that together as Africans, we must indeed go far, and all of us get connected for the benefit of our people. Digital infrastructure, digital skills, and digital services are now the key instruments of integration. Through platforms such as African Continental Free Trade, we are already witnessing how digital trade across border data flows and digital payments are beginning to unify markets across borders. Technology, therefore, has the ability to connect our people, integrate our economies. And true, this transformation cannot happen by default. It must be intentional, deliberate, and coordinated. Your Excellency, my fellow minister also took us through what we did yesterday, and also the Principal Secretary. It was a wonderful day. We went to the Mukuru Affordable Housing Project, very transformative, to see how you developing up, the urban housing, but also leveraging on technology. We went to East Africa Device Assembly, Kenya. We also saw what the young people there are doing. We were challenged, and the issues of how we can, as Africans, come together and ensure that we get the devices affordable in our countries, but also accessible in our countries, and the issues of taxation and so forth. We've been challenged throughout the visit already, but I have one message which we will be taking home, that now Africa must move beyond consumption. We should stop being consumers of technology elsewhere, but we must now begin to be producers of our own technology. And that's a resolve that we must make as Africa. We must begin to manufacture and assemble our own digital devices, develop our own platforms and solutions, build smart cities tailored to African realities, and invest in research institutions that drive innovation at a scale. I'll cut my speech because it's very long, and I wouldn't want to bother you with, but just to say, as I conclude, that Your Excellency, your visit here underscores the importance of the discussions that we are having at this summit. And I must congratulate you, together with the President, the tone that you have taken. Oftentimes, reforms lack the drive from the leadership at the top. And we would want also to encourage you, our leaders, to drive this digital transformation. I have an example in our country that our President has taken it upon himself to say, we are embracing digital technology. Each and every ministry must embrace digital. This is no era for paper-based communication, paper-based platforms. So, with the same, I see that your government, and me being a politician, I see that your government, you're doing the right things, and I see that the people of Kenya are going to trust you, yet with another mandate. So, without taking much of your valuable time, let me thank you for giving us the opportunity on behalf of my fellow ministers to say a word or two. And let me invite my host to take it from here. But thank you very much. Greetings from Malawi. We always say Malawi is the warm heart of Africa. So there is no any other heart which is warm. Malawi is the warm heart of Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Waziri. Big applause for our keynote speaker. Your Excellency, as ministers, we decided to give that space to Malawi to speak on our behalf. So what he has said is not only his own, but also ours. We did a head up, Your Excellency. Those people who play golf, they say a head up is when you make a mistake, but to make it sound good is a head up. Allow me to recognize our sponsors. And the lead sponsor is none other but Safaricom. Your Excellency, we have a list of 35 sponsors amongst them, and not in any order per se. We have, I'll just mention a few. Everyone else, please feel appreciated. We have a Piero Gidicio, Oracle Kenya, Technologies Limited, Huawei, Kenya Commercial Bank, Smart Technologies, amongst many others, and we truly appreciate your support. Your Excellency, also we have ambassadors accredited to Kenya here present. If we may just ask them kindly to stand so that we appreciate you. I see Estonia, I see Romania, and I can't see the back. It looks like they're from Sudan for one reason or the other. So, Your Excellency, allow me to invite our Minister for Tourism, Rebecca Miano, and I will cede ground for her to invite you so that I don't have to come back here again. Thank you, sir.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki, honorable ministers, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to Magical Kenya. We are saying Kenya is the origin of wonder. Let me begin with a story, a very short one. About 1.6 million years ago, a young boy lived near a lake in what is today northern Kenya, near Lake Turkana. He was 13 years old when he died, and when his remains were discovered in 1984, he changed everything we thought we knew about where humanity began. We call him Turkana Boy. And he's proved that Kenya is not just the origin of wildlife or safari. Kenya is the origin of us. So, welcome home. That is why origin of wonder is not a marketing word for us. It is what people truly feel when they arrive. That moment of being stopped in their tracks by something they did not know the world still had. Something you may not have known about Kenya. Kenya has taken deliberate steps to align tourism with Africa's digital future. We have made significant strides in digitizing the tourism ecosystem to enhance efficiency, transparency, and visitor experience. We have introduced electronic travel authorization system to simplify entry, digital park entry, and payments through e-ticketing, automated tourism, licensing and levy collection to improve our compliance and to improve your experience. These efforts are part of a broader national digital strategy and partnerships aimed at equipping the entire tourism ecosystem while unlocking opportunities for our youth through content creation and tech-driven solutions and marketing. As we gather here at the Connected Africa Summit, The question is no longer whether we can transform tourism through technology. It is how we scale these efforts across the continent. Indeed, the future of tourism here in Kenya is digital. Honorable ministers and the distinguished delegates attending today, I was given only 2 minutes. I'll therefore invite you to turn your attention to the screen for a short video to reintroduce Kenya to you through our tourism manifesto.
Before the world had maps, there was Kenya. Before language, there was rhythm. Before time had a name, there were footsteps across this red earth. This is not just a place. It's a pulse. It's the breath of the wild, the whisper of ancestors in the wind, the drumbeat in your chest you thought was yours alone. Come here and unlearn. Trade your inbox for a horizon. Trade reception bars for baobab trees. Come walk barefoot through the origin of everything. Life, flavor, fire, soul. Because Kenya is not a destination, it's the birthplace of awe, the homeland of wonder, the reset the modern world forgot it needed. You don't visit Kenya, you remember it, you return to it, you wake up in it. This is magical Kenya, the origin of wonder. Welcome back.
Welcome to Kenya. Welcome to Magical Kenya. It is now my honor and humble duty to invite His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki, to address you. Welcome,
He
sir.
is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, a distinguished professor of law and seasoned public servant with extensive experience in governance, security, and international law. Having served as Cabinet Secretary for Interior and a long-serving senator, he brings deep expertise in leadership, policy, and national development. Please welcome His Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki.
Thank you very much. Be seated. I think after Rebecca succeeded in what her intention was, she forgot the other people around. Brothers and sisters, it is a great honor and privilege to welcome those of you who are coming from outside Kenya to Kenya. This is your home, and all of you therefore should feel at home. Africa is one connected home for all of us. And even for those from outside Africa, you are also at home. The world is also a connected family. Feel at home. We are deeply honored to host representatives from, I am told, over 30 countries who are gathered here in a spirit of purpose, ambition, and continental partnership. Your presence in Nairobi sends a very strong message that Africa is ready to shape its own digital future. Africa is ready to build together. Africa is ready to move from conversation to execution, from pilots to Pan-African reality. I've also looked at the theme of this conference, Uniting Africa's innovation for an inclusive digital market. And this theme, to me, speaks to the promise of this continent. It speaks to the reality that no African country, however ambitious, can fully unlock the digital economy potential in isolation. For many years, African countries have pursued digital transformation with determination. We have built systems, expanded connectivity, digitized services, supported startups, and trained young people, yet too often our gains have remained fragmented. So we must resolve the fragmentation problem of our solutions. We have built progress country by country, platform by platform, regulation by regulation, yet we have not extensively explored collaboration on the digital front. The next phase of this endeavor demands something bigger, some greater alignment, interoperability, trust, and a newly true African digital market. This summit, therefore, is not just another gathering on technology, but rather a working session for directing our continental trajectory in the ever-dynamic digital space. Today, this conference is calling us to ask a number of critical questions. How do we safely and securely connect our infrastructure across borders? How do we make data move safely and lawfully across our region? How do we make payments efficient, cheaper, and more trusted? How do we support African innovators to scale beyond their home countries? How do we ensure that the digital transformation reaches the village, the farmer, the student, the micro trader, and small business owner, and the public servant? Those are the questions. And these are not just technical questions. They are socio-economic and governance inquiries central to the future of Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, in Kenya, we have learned that digital transformation must rest on practical foundations. It must be built on infrastructure. It must be backed by public policy. It must be supported by skills. It must be designed around citizens and businesses. This is why, through our Ministry of Information, Communications, and the Digital Economy, we are pushing, as the government of Kenya, major initiatives such as the Digital Superhighway, which we want to expand by a new 100,000 kilometers. Already we've done 30,000, and we are on course to build the balance. We are also on the Kenya Digital Economy Acceleration Project. We are also building ICT hubs across the country, targeting 1,450. We've completed 382 of these hubs across Kenya. 400 others are almost complete. And the balance, of course, is within our plans. And we are also creating public Wi-Fi hotspots in various parts of the country. We are also training our young people in digital skills and also improving our innovation infrastructure. And today, we can confidently say that this approach is delivering results. Kenya has emerged as one of Africa's leading digital economies and a globally recognized innovation hub. I am sure for the rest of the countries represented here, you also have good things, success areas that we can, all of us, learn from. Our digital economy here in Kenya contributes an estimated between 7 and 8% to the GDP. We are on our very clear targets of achieving double-digit growth in terms of contribution of the digital economy to our GDP. We are home to one of the world's most successful mobile money ecosystems, M-Pesa. And you've heard from the horse's mouth, Peter Ndegwa, a great son of Africa, and who is running a great company, and one of our pride in this continent, in this space, especially of mobile money transfer system and what the M-Pesa is processing in terms of transactions, other than what my old friend Julie Gishuru gave. Julie, I didn't know you came here. I've not seen you for 20 years. Other than those statistics that Julie Gishuru, our sister Julie Gishuru gave, M-Pesa is processing transactions equivalent to 50% of Kenya's GDP every year. It is that phenomenon. Kenya's startup ecosystem continues to rank among the top in Africa, attracting global investments. And those colleagues who spoke here in the panel spoke very eloquently about the need for investments and partnerships. I'll speak to that as I end my remarks. But let me say that we, as a country, have made some progress in digital public services. We have an e-citizen program where citizens access government services digitally, and they pay digitally. And we have removed paper transactions, improved our revenues, increased transparency, and made the delivery of public services more convenient. And I think this is one of the areas where we have also something we can share with the rest of the continent. We now have e-citizen, where millions of Kenyans can access government services seamlessly and efficiently. We are also making investments in connectivity. Kenya now boasts of 90% of our population has 4G internet connection. That's 90% of our population, and we are expanding this through our fiber infrastructure, as I have said, under the Digital Superhighway Initiative. On digital skills, we continue to build one of the youngest and most tech-enabled workforces, with thousands of young people are trained annually through a number of programs, Ajira program, Jitume, digital hubs programs, and others. These efforts are not only about technology, but they are also about inclusion, about jobs, about access, and national productivity. By expanding our digital superhighway, by providing digital spaces for young people to access digital services and e-commerce, we have created 300,000 jobs in the last few years. We want to expand that to 1 million jobs through this initiative of digital jobs. Kenya's ambition does not stop at the border. We see our digital future as inseparable from the digital future of the region. Peter has already told us Safaricom is in Ethiopia and in 7 other markets in the region. So we are connected to the region and to the world. That is why Kenya is actively engaged in regional efforts to build a more integrated digital economy. Through the East Africa Regional Digital Integration Project, our region is working towards a stronger broadband connectivity and a better enabling environment for cross-border digital services. Through the East African community, there are ongoing efforts to harmonize cross-border data flow frameworks and build common standards for cross-border payments. The same is going to happen under now the Africa Continental Free Trade Area arrangement, the same that we are now doing under EAC. Regional and continental digital integration remains an urgent call for all of us. Our nations cannot afford digital islands. The future certainly belongs to those consolidating efforts towards connecting policy with infrastructure, infrastructure with enterprise, and enterprise with the people. Ladies and gentlemen, as has been said by other speakers, we have talent, we have ideas, we have innovation, we have passion. What we must now build is a bridge between innovation and practical delivery. I am encouraged that this summit is not just about discussion, but about structure. I therefore urge us to come up with actionable outcomes, digitally connecting Africa, embracing innovation, and decisively advancing our collective efforts towards a sustainable and futuristic digital continent as a matter of duty. Having listened to the very eminent panelists that in 20 minutes discussed quite an array of things that we need to do, I just want to echo all the great ideas that were discussed here. From where we sit as Kenya, we see 5 priorities, which were summarized by the panelists. And this is around people, it's around technology, it's around partnerships, and you can infuse there human capital and the software, which is our value system. Because what I have learned here is that the people must be at the center of Africa's future and the future of the world. And it's the people in terms of inclusion. The people, the entire spectrum of the people must help us define our future, including the youth, including women, including all shades of, all segments of the people. But technology is going to remain the biggest driver of the future. Look at the 10 most successful companies in the world. Many of them are technology companies, and it's going to remain that into the future as we abandon the traditional way of doing things and going into technology. But it's also about partnerships, because the public sector does not have enough resources to meet the demands for Africa's future, both in terms of financial resources, but also human capital resources. We do not have enough intellectual and human abilities to drive the demands of the future, and we do not have enough resources, because the opportunities for increasing domestic mobilization of resources through taxation is becoming constrained. That window is becoming constrained. The opportunity of mobilizing resources through debt, through borrowing, is also becoming constrained. And there are only 3 ways in which you can mobilize resources. You either tax people more, you either borrow, or you become innovative. And this is where the space of the PPP arrangements come into place, where we assure the private sector to invest their money in the provision of public goods and services. All the private sector needs is stability, predictability, assurance that they will recoup their capital. They will help us do the infrastructure that we require and look for the change that we need. And what I've learned from the panelists is that we are not just talking about public-private partnerships, but we are expanding it to public, private, and people partnerships. So the 4 Ps. That shows you I was listening. Our sister Secretary General for the DCO and the other panelists, that shows you we were listening, and listening very carefully. And therefore, that is what we see as going. And I want to commend Minister William Kabogo and my other colleagues, PS John, Engineer John Tanui, the team at ICTA, for putting this together. And thank you very much for pitching for Africa and pitching for technology. And I want to end there, because my work was to open the event, was not to lecture or teach you, because you, in fact, I wish I had more time. I would have wanted to listen to the brains around here and pick more ideas, because we've said, us in the public sector, we do not have the monopoly of ideas and knowledge. We do not have the monopoly of resources, and that's why our partnerships are very important. Looking around here, I see all of us are here, government officials of different cadres. I see diplomats, development partners, captains of industry, private sector, everybody is here. And I hope the next one, you'll also invite someone from we need to see a bit of inclusion. We want to see users of ICT technology from the depths of Africa who can come and also address a meeting like this about their experiences, what they are doing, using ICT in their businesses and other things that they are doing from the countryside. Ordinary folks who would never have imagined that technology can bring them the kind of inclusion that they are experiencing. I have seen wonderful startups generated by young people who are not the urban type, not the ones living in Nairobi and other cities, but these are startups which have been developed by young people who are from the depths of our countries. And the only thing that enabled them to develop that startup or that business idea is availability, connectivity, access to internet, and access to infrastructure, the devices that they use to do their job. With those many remarks, I bring you greetings from President William Ruto, and I declare this 15th Connect Africa Summit officially opened on behalf of the government of Kenya.
Big round of applause once again. We are now ready for the launch of some very critical items. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the government of Kenya sees interoperability as key to delivering services that are efficient, connected, and truly centered around citizens. That's why the government interoperability framework was developed, and so we're going to witness this. Let's have the countdown. So together, I'd kindly request, ready? Let's go 3, 2, and 1. Give us sound, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. That's the government interoperability framework, developed to create a clear, standardized way for systems across ministries, departments, and agencies to seamlessly share data and work together securely. And we'll now move straight to the photo session. We'd kindly request Your Excellency to come to the front. For the rest of us, we can kindly take our seats. All the ministers and cabinet secretaries, please join the photo. Thank you so much. After that, ICT Authority, please be on standby. But for now, welcome to the photo session. All right, we're ready for the photo session. Welcome, honorable members. Thank you so much. Are we ready? Thank you so much. Alors, merci beaucoup. Can I request the ICT Authority Board, CEO, Tafadhali Karibuni, please, s'il vous plaît. Bienvenue, welcome. For the ministers and cabinet secretaries, you may kindly exit. Thank you so much. We'll be left. So much will be left by His Excellency and Honorable Cabinet. Let's have the ICT Authority Board, of course, the Secretary, the Ministry, Digital Economy.
Good afternoon once again. We are coming to you live from the Edge Convention Center, where Kenya has officially opened the 15th Connected Africa Summit, with Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki calling for urgent continental cooperation to build a single, inclusive digital market for Africa. Now, speaking during the opening ceremony, the Deputy President welcomed the delegates from about 30 countries, saying Africa is ready to move beyond dialogue and pilot projects into full implementation of a shared digital future. He said while many African nations have made progress in digitization, connectivity, and innovation, those gains remain fragmented. He noted that the next phase of growth requires policy alignment, interoperable systems, trusted cross-border payments, and secure data flows, as well as stronger support for startups to scale across the continent. Professor Kindiki has gone further to highlight Kenya's own digital progress, saying the country's digital economy now contributes an estimated 7 to 8% of GDP, with potential for double-digit growth. He also cited Kenya's globally recognized mobile money ecosystems led by M-Pesa, a strong startup activity in Nairobi. On regional integration, the Deputy President said Kenya is actively supporting efforts through the East African Community and wider regional projects to harmonize digital regulations, improve broadband links, and enable cross-border digital trade. He thus urged summit participants to focus on practical outcomes that connect innovation with delivery, saying Africa cannot afford to remain a collection of digital islands. That puts a cap on the official launch of the Connected Summit here in Nairobi as it enters its day 2. We'll continue keeping tabs on the outcomes of this particular summit that has been termed as a game changer to matters technology. Now we hand you over to normal broadcasting with the lunchtime news coming up in not too long. I'm Regina Manyara. Back to you, Broadcasting House.